Welcome to Channel X TV, sponsored by Volo. Delighted to be joined today by Michiel Ebbing, the founder of Alioth. Now, there's some exciting news coming up with Alibaba.com, who are announcing that the latest channel partner, no surprises, that's Alioth, who have been actually working with Alibaba for a few years, but are going to be helping brands, specifically in the Benelux and the UK, unlock international expansion opportunities via Alibaba.com. So welcome, Michiel. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Chris. I'm great. I'm in the snowy Netherlands, which is quite rare. So it's already a special day.
Yeah, well, we're getting a bit of snow in parts of the UK as well this week.
Okay.
But let's just jump right in. Can you just tell us a little bit about the Alioth offer? How do you support brands and specifically business-to-business companies working with Alibaba.com?
Sure. Yeah. No. So we completely dedicate our efforts to supporting suppliers on Alibaba.com. So we are not a marketplace partner like many of the other marketing or digital agents out there. We're completely dedicated to Alibaba.com, and we try to support the suppliers in 3 steps. The first one is the discovery phase, where we're really trying to dive into the opportunity for the individual company and see if there's a fit, both from a product but also capability level. The second step is, once they are convinced that it's a fit for their business, is actually get them onto the platform, the onboarding phase. And yeah, we can build their complete store, upload all of their products, and also set out a strategy for them. And then the third step is the operational phase, where we are really supporting them in becoming successful on the platform, because you can imagine Alibaba.com being the biggest B2B marketplace in the world with millions of users. It's hard to stand out. So once you're on the platform, it's all about getting into the top search results, because otherwise people are not going to be able to find you. And that's where we can really play a role.
Now, you've mentioned that this is a B2B, business-to-business opportunity. What do brands need to think about? And I'm thinking especially smaller companies that are perhaps used to trading on other marketplaces where they're selling to consumers. What are the main considerations when you're setting up to sell business-to-business that you can help these retailers with?
So there's a lot that's different, but the main thing to remember is that you should actually not compare it to B2C marketplaces, because it's a non-transactional platform. On Alibaba.com, you don't actually sell the product. What you do on Alibaba.com is find the buyer. And once you have found the buyer, then you actually connect with them outside of the platform and transact with them outside of the platform. So it's more a lead generator or a marketing platform, and that's also why it's best compared to trade shows. It's more or less an online trade show, 365 days a year, 24/7. And that's something that somehow people automatically, when they hear it's a marketplace, they compare it to Amazon or any of the other marketplaces, but actually it's much more compared to an online trade show, and that's also how I think you should evaluate the opportunity.
So this is really interesting, because there are lots of SMEs out there that perhaps don't have the finance to be able to attend physical trade shows. But what are some of the other challenges facing SMEs, and how is this partnership going to help address some of these challenges?
So I think nowadays everyone is convinced that the internet online is the future, and not just the future, but also already the present. But somehow it was really B2C who got the digitalization drive going. And everybody was using it in their personal life already, but in a lot of businesses, it was falling behind a little bit. We really see that now businesses also figured it out, and that they're starting to think about how do we actually bring our business online. And that's where this really fits in. And then also the question of where do you start? Like when you have always done your business in a certain way, it's quite complicated to then transition into a whole new form that needs to be successful online. And that really needs experimentation. It needs patience and a long-term strategy. And there, Alibaba.com can really help, because it's a great platform to start that journey, because it's a very resource-efficient way of testing the waters, finding out in which markets there's potential for your products, what type of buyers are looking for your products. You will actually get a lot of data about the global market, because as a supplier, you get access to all the search traffic on the platform. And this really enables SMEs to first of all understand what's out there, and then also help them design a road to success. How do you actually tap into those pools of opportunity? And what do you have to do to make those buyers believe in your product and your capabilities? And that's not a process of a couple of days or weeks or even months. And that's probably always ongoing. Like you're never done designing your business, and online things go quite quickly. So the change you also see on the platform like Alibaba.com constantly. Like no year is the same, and COVID in that sense really skyrocketed some of the activities on the platform. But now you also see a new time coming. So it's I think absolutely necessary to have online exposure. When you look at the numbers, more than 80% of B2B buyers start their journey online. If you're not visible online, you're missing out on a lot of businesses. So it's absolutely crucial that you're visible online, that people can actually find you, and Alibaba.com can play a very important role.
Yeah, so this is really interesting, because I'm thinking of typically brands in the past would have operated almost exclusively B2B in the retail space, probably selling to high street retailers or online platforms. But in recent years, they've all been switching to D2C, selling to consumers. Whereas a typical SME would have probably started off selling to consumers. So they've got the D2C model sussed, but now you're trying to get them online in a B2B environment. So their journey is kind of opposite to the larger, more established brands. But tell me, what else is different when you're selling B2B for SMEs? Should they be considering the B2B as merely selling to other retailers, or are there more opportunities with maybe selling to government, schools, larger businesses, and indeed to other manufacturers that may not sell their product directly, but take it and combine it to make new products? Where do you see the biggest opportunities?
So the short answer is almost everywhere. Alibaba.com is a multiple category platform with more than 40 industries represented on the platform, and more or less any physical product you can think of is being sold on Alibaba.com. And that's not only products catered for consumers, but actually much more so also all of the other aspects of the supply chain. So every company needs machines. Where do you buy them? Alibaba.com. You can find them. Packaging, you can find it on Alibaba.com. So it's not only about the end product, it's really about how do you make your product, and everything you need for that is also Alibaba.com. So the variety in users is much richer than all of the other platforms I've seen. And I think it's also really about finding your niche. So like the big numbers, Alibaba.com is a platform, 47 million active buyers on the platform, sending out inquiries every month. There are more than 200,000 suppliers on the platform. It's all nice, big numbers, but actually it's irrelevant for an individual business. An individual business needs to zoom in. Hey, what's going on in my niche on the platform? And that's actually also what we do in that discovery phase. We really first try to understand the company. Hey, what are you doing? What are your ambitions? And who are your buyers? And with that information, we go into the systems of Alibaba.com and we find in the data the answers for them. How many buyers are out there? What are they looking for? Are they looking for your end product, or are they looking for maybe something that is not finished yet? Are they looking for private label? That's all out there. And it's really important that you understand, okay, is this platform also offering the category that's relevant to me? And more or less everyone is using Alibaba.com when it comes to the different categories, but there's big differences in the activity and also the origination of the traffic. So that's why it's so important to see, okay, if we really want to sell to Europe, are European buyers active in this category on the platform? And that's something where we can really help them understand the opportunity for their business. What I also think is important to realize is that some of our clients don't have products. The only thing they have to offer is manufacturing capability. So they have factories and they can make products for buyers, but it's up to the buyer which product they want to make. And it's also a process together in designing that product. So then you have to start thinking about, how do you present that on a platform like Alibaba.com?
That must be really difficult. I'm not selling a product. I've got a factory and maybe I can make metal things or fabric things or leather goods. How do I actually tell you I can make the product that you want me to buy? How do you even start with that?
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about it, because there's so many companies for which Alibaba.com would be a great fit. But if we tell them, hey, Alibaba.com, e-commerce, and they're like, no, e-commerce is not for me. It doesn't work for me because I don't have a product. And so it's the way they think, like you can only offer a product, but no. There are a lot of ways in which you can actually sell or market your capabilities. And they're more or less doing it on the trade shows where they are going, but they think it's different. But actually, it's very similar. You just have to design a way to show the process. And obviously, video is super important in that. You need videos of your factory, the process line. But actually you also need to think about, okay, what is that buyer looking for? They're looking for quality. So certifications are one of the priorities. Convince the buyer that you have all the certifications needed to make the relevant product. And that's something that most of the companies we work with, they don't really have a digital form easy to present, whereas they it should be one of the first things that they have ready to go. A document showing the quality that they can deliver. So certifications is one. Video is a really important one. And live, like actually when buyers reach out, they might want to see during a video call when you walk around in the factory, because everybody can pretend that they own a factory and upload some of the footages. And that's also why Alibaba.com is actually verifying the content. They're actually sending a third-party team to check, is this really their factory? And are what they are saying online, is it actually true what they can offer? And are their quality standards living up to those real standards? And so there are all ways to digitally verify and prove the value that you can offer as a company. And that's something actually evolving very quickly. I don't know if you have seen live streaming recently in e-commerce, but in China that's the standard already, where 24/7 you can go to live shows where they're presenting products and you can ask questions directly to the seller, and that is giving a lot of trust to the buyers when they can directly talk to the supplier and the maker of the product. And that's also something that a lot of people misunderstand. Online is not replacing traditional business, physical. It's actually complementing it, and it's making the first lead generation part of the process much more efficient, both in time and financial resources. So you have to find ways to connect with your buyer. And for that, you need to understand your buyer. And your buyer in the physical world might be a bit different than your buyer online. And that's what you need to figure out. How do I reach them in the beginning phase of that journey, their buying journey? How do I make sure they find us and that we can convince them to reach out to us? because then once they have reached out, they actually go into the traditional sales pipeline, because then you step outside of the platform and you can do exactly what you did before with this new lead.
So it's still coming back very much to the lead generation aspect of Alibaba.com, which I think is really important to emphasize.
Yes.
But I'd also like to ask, one of the big opportunities is obviously export. How can online marketplaces like Alibaba.com actually assist manufacturers and UK businesses to export?
So what we normally do is we ask the companies, where do you want to sell? And most companies don't really have a strong preference. They want to sell to the right buyer that's looking for their product. So what we also try to do is we try to identify, okay, in which markets is the biggest opportunity for your products and the way you want to sell it, because it's not just the product, it's also minimum order quantities are used on Alibaba.com, because most businesses don't want to sell per piece. If you want to sell per piece, you go to B2C marketplaces. So most of our clients have either a pallet or a container of their product being the minimum order quantity. Everything below that, they're not interested in selling. And that's also something that you have to take in consideration. Where do you want to sell and what do you want to sell? So what volume or under what conditions do you want to make the transaction? And that can also highly influence the markets that you should aim for. And that's what we try to find in the data. Are these markets actually there? And in the combination of the keyword search, normally there is a lot of information about the type of search behind it. So we don't only look at the top 10 search data keywords for a category. We actually look at all 4,000 of them, all the 4,000 different combinations of keywords, because normally the gold dust is really in the lower areas where it's much more specific, using 7, 8, 9 keywords sometimes, but actually those keywords tell you exactly who's behind that search and if they are a relevant buyer. And on those keywords, the competition is a lot less. So normally it's a lot easier to get to that buyer than it is to get to the first keyword search traffic in a category. And that's something I think people often overlook, is that no, you should not only go for the keywords that are the highest searched. No, you should go for the ones that are very relevant to your product and see low competition. Because then you don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on marketing budget to get to page number 1. You can actually get there through an organic way, and then the conversion will also be higher because you're very relevant to that search. And I don't know if I'm getting too technical, but that's something that we really try to help our clients with, in understanding, okay, so which keywords could be relevant to you. And we're not, if you're selling chocolate, we're not looking only at chocolate, but so what kind of chocolate are you selling? And if so, what kind of buyer? Is it a retailer? Is it a wholesaler? That might actually also influence which keywords they use. And that's a learning journey. Like, you need to understand, okay, how do your buyers act online? And how are they searching? And that's really something that we can help them with, but it's teamwork. We need their market expertise and their market understanding, their product understanding to really set out the right strategy. And then you can really find those niche opportunities for your company, even on a global platform like Alibaba.com.
Fantastic. So this is actually quite exciting. But for those SMEs that haven't jumped into the online B2B marketplace world before, what advice would you give them if they're thinking of digitizing in 2024? And I know you've already mentioned a lot, like certification, videos, live streaming, understanding that it's lead generation. But is there any other advice, the top tips that you would recommend?
So I think the number one is you don't do this for short-term results. You do this because you think it's where the market is going, and that 10 years from now, everything will originate online. And that's also why you should not be focused on results only. So we see with especially SMEs, like they have limited resources available, both time and financial resources. So they want to see return on investment quickly. And that's actually, that can hurt the development of the process itself. So I always tell them, hey, first of all, you should do this for the long term, and you should focus on the process. If you focus on the process, getting that right, the results will follow. But if you steer too much on the results in the short term, you're going to make mistakes and take shortcuts that are going to hurt you in the end. And that's really something that we have seen a lot of businesses struggle with, because even an owner can be on board with that long-term strategy. But who are the ones that are executing? It's his or her team. And they are focused
the
on
salespeople want their commission immediately.
Exactly. And so when they're not getting the commission out of a platform like Alibaba.com this month, they'll focus their time and effort somewhere else. And then actually you will never see returns if you don't put in the work that's needed to also eventually get the results on Alibaba.com. And that's something where, yeah, we have learned a lot in the last 3 years. So we also know how to make sure that we manage the expectations right from the beginning, because that gives a lot of extra space for experimentation and development that is needed to get in the right direction. Because Alibaba.com is a platform with tools that are the same for everyone, but it works different for every single company, because every single company has different products, different keywords, different lead magnets that they use, different content, and different buyers. So we know the tools, but how they work for an individual business is something that you have to learn along the way, and you need time for experimentation. And if companies are not willing to put in that level of commitment from a time point of view, give it 1 to 2 years to really see the potential of the platform. If they don't want to do that, we actually normally tell them, okay, then you shouldn't go for this platform. And that's also why, like, our role is really important. We are not the market maker. We are actually helping our clients outcompete all the other users on the platform. And that Alibaba.com can never do, because they need to be neutral. They need to be objective. Good. And what we want to do is that our clients need to be number one in their category. And that's what we're working for. And that's also why we only want to work with companies that have that potential. Because if they don't, and after 4 or 5 months, they tell us, hey, yeah, we regret it, but it wasn't right for us, we actually lose money. The first year, we have to put in the most effort. And the results will come end of the first year, second year, third year, fourth year. If they're already gone, then we're missing the upside. And that's also why that discovery phase is not only important for businesses, it's also super important for us in qualifying the company, if it's a company we want to work with, and if they should actually take a chance on Alibaba.com. And that's something that, in the beginning, we were less aware of that, because obviously we had to experience it. We had companies with the right product, the right capabilities, but they lost interest after a couple of months, and we were not able to motivate them again. And we have companies that go actually onto the platform. It takes 9 months before they do their first deal. So if we would have lost them by then, they thought Alibaba.com wasn't for them. But after month 9, they got inquiries every month, and they were selling containers of their products to countries all over the world. And they would have missed out on that opportunity if they would have given up halfway that first year. And that's really how we changed in the last couple of years to make sure that companies have the right expectation.
So I think that the big takeaways from today are that this is a B2B opportunity, that Alibaba.com is a lead generation platform, and that it needs to be a long-term commitment, that perhaps the real benefits are going to come in a decade's time, in the 2030s, but definitely it's not something you're going to get results tomorrow. It's going to be the end of this year, beginning of next year. You're going to really be set up to be making a difference for your business. But before we go, Michael, I just want to ask about the mechanics of A, how can someone get hold of you if you want to find out more? And B, what can they expect from working with you? Do you work on a commission basis? Is it a consultancy basis? Obviously, you're going to want to be paid for your time. How does that work?
So actually, the platform works with annual memberships, and that's not without a reason. It's just because how I just described it, it takes 1 year to prove the value of the platform. And that's also our goal for all of our clients is if you give it a year, after 1 year, you will know if this platform is going to help you transition your company into a future-proof company and make your first move online or expand your online activities. But so on the annual membership of Alibaba.com, we get a commission as a channel partner. And that's also means that after year one, if you renew, we also get the commission. So that's why we are interested in companies that keep renewing. And we want to educate them and enable them to be able to also run their own store, because we will remain their channel partner and we will be their customer support if they have problems. But the better they are at it and the less they need us, the more companies we can actually support. So we have a strong incentive to educate our clients to become autonomous operators on the platform. Second, there are also a lot of companies that either don't have the people with the right skills, or they just don't have the time. A lot of SMEs, they're already struggling to keep everything going. Then they can actually outsource part of the operation to our team. So they can actually have us operate, log into their account every day, even reply to inquiries from buyers, so that we do a first filter. And we only introduce the relevant and high quality leads to them, so they don't have to follow up on all of the leads. Because on Alibaba.com, with the big numbers, if you do well, there will be a lot of inquiries coming in. So there's also time management that's important. But so those are the two main income drivers for us: the membership commissions. And the services that the companies can outsource to our team, so that they don't have to operate by themselves.
And the important part: how does a brand get hold of you?
So they can go to our website and send us an inquiry for discovery. We actually need 2 meetings. 1 meeting, quick call, 20-30 minutes, in which we ask a bunch of questions. So we understand what you do and what you want with your company. We actually conduct research on the platform and then present all of our findings in a demo, which takes about 45 to 60 minutes. And that really gives you an understanding of the opportunity for your individual business. And this is also where some of our best customers we discovered them in that data discovery. Our first client was my father-in-law. When we didn't even start on the platform, I was preparing and I was researching a bit, and I found there was huge demand for fresh potatoes on Alibaba.com. And my father-in-law happens to be a potato farmer. So I told him about it, and he said, well, I don't believe it. I've been in the potato business for 40 years, and I've never heard anyone say Alibaba.com is a place where you can buy potatoes. And I said, yeah, it's right, because no one is offering it, but people are looking for it, but there's just no supply. And just as an experiment, we onboarded him as our first client. And after a couple of months, he was getting inquiries from all over the world for containers of fresh potatoes. he was the only potato supplier from Europe on the platform. The Netherlands is
Wow.
obviously famous for potatoes, so he was the #1 organic hit on Alibaba.com, and yeah, he got a whole new world of buyers that he never knew existed, and we have a bunch of those examples of companies. We have a UK flour company. Nobody was talking about flowers on Alibaba.com, but in the data we saw, hey, there's a lot of demand for fresh cut flowers. Why is nobody supplying that demand? And then we found a UK company, and actually they are since a couple of months on that platform. And a couple of days ago, I got another update that they have 2 new great interested buyers from Asia that are buying their first samples again to see if they want to do recurring business with them. And they're tapping into that opportunity right now because nobody else is doing it. And that's what they should be doing. You don't have to commit to anything yet. Contact me. My email or our website, and we actually dive into that opportunity free of charge. The whole research phase doesn't cost you anything except for 1.5 hours of your time.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, I want to thank you so much for your time. This has been fascinating, and congratulations on the extension of your partnership with Alibaba.com. So for those watching, if you're interested in a long-term B2B lead generation international retail opportunity, get in touch with Michael and Alioth to find out more for free. So thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot, Chris, and have a great day.